So CR Construction Services started as a cleaning company in 2012. Long story short, a couple failed attempts with the LSAT at law school, and I was presented with the question of why don't you own a business? You speak Spanish and English. So I emailed about 100 friends up in Hartford County, and I asked them if I could learn how to clean their house for really cheap. And I have a really good support network from my good old, what do they call it, the country years. Learned how to clean houses, and then just kind of landed in this construction space. It's kind of a blue-collar background that I have, and that's about it. So I think what probably sets me apart from the competition, especially in the highly competitive cleaning space, is that I really care about the girls that work for me and with me. And I know that, there's only a certain amount of money I can pay them. It's kind of a line item in cleaning, especially in construction. I can't pay $25 an hour if the market doesn't demand it. So I had to figure out how to overcompensate for those needs. And I launched just a 501c3 nonprofit, and I asked, again, my friends for donations so that I could give them furniture for their homes or kid clothes that they were just, ridding of, or any sort of household needs, or that I could offer a tax donation for. So. Yeah, so a friend of mine, again, got me into Southway Builders, and that friend of mine now works for me. I asked the VP over at Southway not to cut off my opportunities with them by taking him, but I needed to expand and grow, and I needed somebody in the construction who had more experience in the construction industry to do so. But I also really commend Southway and Seawall Development for their sort of their social conscious in how they operate. I've always said that Seawall Development is like the social builders, the social developers in Baltimore. A lot of their projects are with passion. DeBalt and what's his name over there, Evan, and John Constable. They really are, young, creative, innovative, very driven men that really care about the community, and they are really able to come up with these projects. And a lot of times they partner with Southway Builders as a general contractor to help them build. And it's just something that we all get excited about it, whether it's Parkway Theater, whether it's Union Brewery, which is like a collective for entrepreneurs. So it's really, I think, as far as like the networking component and maintaining relationships, like when you guys all come together on the same cause, and you just do a good job, people want to continue that business with you. My leukemia lymphoma award, I would say, was a massive fundraiser, 10-week effort. I think I raised somewhere around like $50,000 or so. But I won't say, I didn't do that on my own. That was absolutely 100% Carrie Pottles, a teammate, a previous winner. She is a force, also in the community as a woman business owner with multiple restaurants. And, she has a team, and we all get together and we just support each other. They know my grandfather died, and, they care. So I can't take all the accolades for that one, but, I appreciate the shout out. And as far as being more Latina, you gotta help, you just gotta help people, especially when the reason why I'm successful is because they work so hard. We all work hard, and they just work hard differently. And, I think it's right to show an appreciation for that. Yeah, totally. So Maryland Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, I kind of call it like speed dating for businesses. That's what Chamber of Commerce's usually exist to serve. However, we come together collectively to bring resources for the Hispanic business community, which in Baltimore we know is growing rapidly. And wait for that 2020 census to come out. You will see those numbers increase by over 100%. I'm certain of it. So when you see that kind of growth and you don't see the resources in the community that are needed, you got to bridge a gap. So if not, this population's they're going to fall. So we serve them, the small business owners, the workers. We fight on the legislative side in Annapolis to also represent the needs of the community, whether that's at the state level with trying to implement sub-goals for contracts so that we can get more opportunities outside of construction. We know cybersecurity is a big industry. There's a lot of Hispanic professionals in Maryland that they don't have the representation. So we exist to serve in those capacities to be centralized, essentially, resources for all of those. With regards to the Hispanic community, I'd like, we like to talk about diversity and inclusion. Those are big buzzwords in the corporate world, in life. I think you should be, inclusive. And I think it's very divisive when there's a narrative around or a stereotype around who Hispanics really are. I mean, the Hispanic community, Latin American community is so diverse, and we're not all immigrants. Although in Baltimore, I get it. There's a lot of them. We're not California. We haven't had generations of Mexican Americans or other parts of the world, maybe even New York and Puerto Rico or Florida and the Cubans. Maryland's kind of new to the scene in terms of the rest of the nation. But I think it's important to realize that we're all different, and there just has to be a level of understanding. And if you can't understand that, then you will always be put in a box, and that's really frustrating to try and get out of those boxes sometimes. Yeah, I mean, when you look at 1 in 4 kindergartners in school, they're Hispanic. When you look at, pull up the 2010 census, look at Baltimore, look at the population. It's declined over in Baltimore. The only thing that's growing in Baltimore is the Hispanic community. I mean, it's in the numbers. You can't pay attention to it. And if Baltimore, not saying they don't, but it's just been a hurdle. But if you don't recognize that the direction that these numbers can take your city and the opportunity to capitalize on that, you will fall behind, and Baltimore will fall behind. And I'm not going to sit here and talk bad about Baltimore. I love Baltimore, but let's see, our national narrative is not that great out there. So I think it's really important to focus on the good things that are going on around here, and the Hispanic community really contributes to a big part of that narrative. But, Baltimore is Baltimore. Everybody knows that. I have found, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, and somebody who's out there constantly hustling and capitalizing on opportunity and going here and going there and looking to grow and expand, I think this is a great city. And not just for my industry, but for any industry. You're really only 1 or 2 degrees from somebody that you know. And what's great about Baltimore is that people care. People care a lot, and people want to help, especially those who are showing and putting in that effort. There's appreciation there because there's just a lot of narrative out there that we're not, and it's just not true. There's so many, I don't want to cry, but there are so many people who are trying to just change the script here, and we all come together, and people in Baltimore understand that. People outside of Baltimore don't understand that. So it creates sort of a cohesive environment. And for business, it's a smaller community, and you can get things done. And I think that's the beauty, that's the charm of the city, honestly. I mean, that's where I have found success in that. Adversities, well, let's see. I'm a Hispanic female cleaning company, right? So I check a lot of the little boxes. I think it's funny. As a MBA student, I kind of have to just not pump that ego. Sometimes the blue collar world can be not as intellectual on the site, on jobs. You're not sitting there talking about philosophy in life and how to solve problems. We're just all in there getting the job done. So there's a lot of things that people think, right? Initially off the bat, if I'm nope, I speak English. Yeah, I'm American. I was born here. Yeah, it's just sometimes I used to get bothered by it. Now I just laugh. So, because I'm going to keep going. So, it's one of those things like you'll get to know me and you'll understand. If it's not something that you understand now, then it's not worth your comprehension until until you get to know me. I'm from LA. I grew up on Maryland, but with essentially no family. Not that I'm like it's a sob story, but it's hard sometimes when you feel like you're by yourself a lot. So I really try to. Maybe that's why I try to develop really deep, strong connections that are of value because sometimes it's all you have. Like when you are facing adversity or when you do come across a situation or and you're looking for help and searching for hope. Community really provides that. Family really provides that. And I think I've tried to do that with my friends. I do that with my business. I do that with my girls that I work for. And, even some of the people at the chamber, like I would die for some of those people. Not to be exclusive there, but yeah, I think I've done a good job of trying to build a family for what I see it or how I feel. Oh, well, hopefully not by the time we turn 300, but I'd like to see some strong leadership at the local level for sure. I'm not trying to make it political. It's just the city we are a city grasping for air. It's just it's like we just can't get ahead of the game. And it's just really unfortunate because there's so much, not only historically but culturally that even now today that Baltimore can bring to the table if we could just get a fighter as a mayor, even just really be tougher on the ruthlessness, the recklessness that's out there. I'm not here to tell you whether we need to get a new police chief and, I'm not running for mayor. I don't know. I don't have those answers, but I'm telling you we need somebody with quote unquote some balls, some bigger balls that are going to say those tough things that are, not afraid to tell the truth, tell it like it is. It's tough out there. It's scary, and it's scary in parts where it's everywhere. It's not just like in West Baltimore or in the poor neighborhoods. No, it's everywhere. And I'm sorry, but violence doesn't discriminate. And we need somebody that's out there fighting for us and really trying to make the change at the highest level locally. And it begins with the mayor. And I hope we get one of those sooner rather than later. Well, I could throw a few recommendations out there. A level of self-awareness is really going to get you far in life. I'll say that. You need to be mindful of your steps. You need to be mindful of, where you want to go, where you're going. You need to ask for help, and you need to allow yourself to be vulnerable when you make a mistake. You need to be accountable, and you have to keep going. It's a dogfight out there, and I'm not saying like literally, but it really is. And it's emotional sometimes. And I guess this could be like all encompassing of life, but especially in business, you're great. There's days where I close a, $300,000 contract and then I'm feeling like a badass. And then I don't know, something happens and we've totally screwed up and lost like $120,000 contract, and it's just a constant, up and down, and to be stable and to maintain, you really have to develop that core, and you gotta perseverance is 1,000%, 1,000% the battle. But you just gotta keep going.